And we're going to check out ways that we might be able to think about this in a geometry way. And I'm doing this recording because I've noticed over time that if I don't do things in a certain order, they don't work as well. And I don't, I'm not definitely not the expert with Geometry Sketchpad, and I know some of you are. So you may find better ways to do this, but at least I can find one way to do it. So I'm going to use a dot to represent the mag light tip. That's the flashlight tip, the little teeny bulb, okay? And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line that is horizontal going through that light so I can start to do some measurements. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, because when I hold the shift key down and I click and drag, it's easy to lock into the horizontal. Does that make sense? And I'm going to put this dot way over here so it doesn't interfere with other stuff that I'm going to do next. So now I have a line. What I want is I want a way to have the card with the hole and be able to move it around just like we did. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to get another dot, and this is the dot that's going to be where I'm going to put the card with the hole. And then I'm going to take another line tool, and I'm going to actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on this line and this point, and I'm going to go up to construct a perpendicular line. So now I know that that's perpendicular, which we were trying to get at with our little card with the hole, but it didn't always, and we did this last year when we did the tilting thing, but now we're actually doing it just almost for a simpler thing than when we did last year. And then next, I'm going to consider if my opening, and I should say one other thing. I'm going to go to preferences here, and I'm going to make sure that it's inches, only because centimeters are kind of small on the screen, and I think inches make it a little bit easier to control. Now, since I'm doing a recording, you guys, can you just sit down and not get so wrapped up in the other stuff? So I'm just saying here. I'm just saying. We're trying to do something here. So I'm going to get a segment, and I'm going to do a little segment here going up that I want to be like from the center of the hole going up to the top edge of the hole. And I'm going to measure it because I want, like I said, to have things fairly, escape, click that, delete, go away, delete that. If I make everything 1 unit, if I make the opening of the hole 1 unit, if I make the distance from the light to the hole 1 unit, then whatever happens after that would work for any unit, whatever it is. So that's the kind of the unit independent thing that I was talking about. So to do that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to get just, if I can, exactly a ½ inch above, and then I'm going to do a ½ inch below. So if I get another segment, and I know there's other probably really cool ways of doing this, but you guys will figure that out. So here's the measurement of my second one. So if I then click on this, I can move it. So now the distance from here to here is 1. So this is kind of my hole. Now at that point I can say, well, what if I want this distance to here to also be 1. So I'm going to measure that distance. I'm going to put it up here. Certainly it is not 1 now. It's way too big now, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it back so it's exactly 1. Because then I have a world of ones.
1 inch?
1 inch. And I did it inches because if you do it centimeters, it's so small you can't see anything. It's very annoying. If I now measure, if I want to measure the distance from B to C, I can see that it's also 1. So now I have the hole is 1, the distance to the hole is 1, and now I can go out here and I'm going to make another dot, and I'm going to construct another perpendicular because I need a screen. So that's going to be my screen. So now I have a screen, I have a light source, and I have a hole. So now if I go and I get a ray, and I connect the rays from the light to the hole, I have a situation here that I can measure. And I can move my screen around, see? So I can say, well, what's going to happen to the height? Well, I want a way to know what's happening to the height of the square, because I know if I square the height, it'll be the area, right? Because it's a square, and although I'm modeling it two-dimensionally, I know that it's the same the other way because we tried to cut perfect squares. It's making sense to people so far? So, and I could color. You guys know that under display you can make things different colors and make it, color code and all that. So I'm going to let you guys do that fancy bit. But I can go here and I can say, what's the distance here? And then, so this is the distance from the top to the bottom of the illuminated area, right? I can also say, well, what's the distance from the light source to the screen? Is anyone noticing anything here? So if the height of our illuminated area is the same as the distance to the illuminated area, what's the relationship with the actual area? See what I'm saying? Because say I'm going to go back here. First of all, at the hole, if I move the screen all the way back to the hole, what would the illuminated area be? 1 inch by 1 inch, so it'd just be 1. Yeah, if we ignore it being inches, we could just say it's 1 square unit, right? Okay, what if I move it back to 2?
2 square units.
No.
Oh no, 4 square units.
What if I move it back to 3? What would it be?
9.
So are we starting to see that there might be a really kind of clean relationship here?
Mm-hmm.
So, Evan?
So the relationship would be x squared equals y.
Or area equals,
The distance squared.
right.
And then that's the simplest of simple quadratic equations. And it's just
It is the simplest of simplest. And then I would challenge you to think about station 3. If we were independent of units, what would the formula be for station 3? So, you guys have time. I'm going to stop this recording now because I think I did an excellent job.